The recruiting game heating up in the tri-state area. The son of a former Michigan star just got an invite from the Wolverines. A Columbus area running back is staying in state, and it looks like we might know where a Hoosierland recruit with the name of a cartoon character or a fast food chicken franchise, depending on your preference, might be leaning. Scout Show next. Hey, thanks for tuning in to another edition of the State Champs Scout Show. This program is dedicated to all kinds of recruiting news in the tri-state area of Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. I'm Lauren Platt. This show presented by Lawrence Technological University. And I'm telling you, the university is getting set to begin a big push for hundreds of athletes in a variety of sports. You can recruit yourself at LTUathletics.com. Former Michigan State quarterback Ryan Van Dyke will join me here in studio to talk about how the recruiting game has evolved since his day back in the late 90s. But let's start this week with news from Ohio.
This is Alan True with the latest in recruiting news from the state of Ohio. The Ohio Bobcats have secured a verbal commitment from an outstanding in-state prospect, Columbus St. Francis de Sales running back Quintel Quinn, a 6-foot, 190-pound senior 3-star. Akron and Ball State had also offered Quinn. He was a first-team All-Ohio and first-team All-Central Catholic League selection as a junior after rushing for 1,808 yards. He also had 101 tackles on the defensive side of the ball. So far, Quinn is off to a strong start in his senior year, which included a 3-touchdown performance against Bishop Watterson in Week 1. That also included the game winner in overtime. Another big physical running back is Stephon Bird of Canal Winchester. Only a junior, Bird has 11 scholarship offers. The latest comes from the Utah Utes, who rarely recruit Ohio, but are now after Bird. The 6-foot, 195-pound prospect has additional offers from Iowa State, Minnesota, Michigan, Tennessee, and more. Moving down to the 2023 class, a breakout player early this season has been East Liverpool offensive tackle Mason Ludwig. His 6'5", 270-pound frame has schools quickly finding out about him. Toledo has offered a scholarship, his first of the process, but look for more schools to get in contact. Wheelersburg recently had 2 athletes make college decisions. Senior point guard Ellie Kallner gave a verbal commitment to Concordia University of Ann Arbor. Kallner helped the Pirates to a 22-3 record as a junior. Over to the volleyball court, Kylie Barney gave a verbal commitment to Malone. Barney is a middle hitter who helped the Pirates to a state semifinal appearance as a junior with a school record 108 blocks and a team-high 260 kills. That's it for recruiting news this week. I'm Alan True.
Did you record an unbelievable touchdown, a game-winning goal, or just a proud parent moment? Then we want your clip. Upload your video to the brand new State Champs Network app so we can feature it on one of our shows and give your player, team, and school the recognition they deserve. All it takes is just a few easy clicks, and every clip that is submitted will automatically be eligible for prizes. Download the State Champs Network app today for iPhone and Android devices.
Checking in from Indiana, this is Scott Bernstein. Starting on the pitch for the girls, Park Tudor junior forward Kalina Miroff, the best small school player in the state, notched her 100th goal of her career last week in a 6-goal performance in an 11-0 shutout of Shortridge. Miroff has 26 goals and 10 assists so far this season for the defending Class A state champion Panthers. Her recruiting right now consists of D3 and NAIA programs, but should be heating up soon. Moving over to the gridiron, Westfield junior defensive end Popeye Williams is rumored to be on the verge of committing to Penn State. The 6'4", 245-pound pass rusher also has Alabama, Wisconsin, and Michigan State in the mix. His Westfield club is off to a 4-1 record out of the gate and has 25 tackles and 3 sacks in the stat sheet for 2020. Iowa has entered the Taven Jackson sweepstakes, with the Hawkeyes offering Center Grove's 6'5" dandy of a dual-threat quarterback over the weekend. Center Grove is 5-0 and the number 1 team in the state. As a sophomore in 2019, Jackson, the son of retired NBA vet and former Indiana Pacer Dale Davis, and the little brother of IU hoopster Tracy Jackson Davis, helped lead Center Grove into the state championship game where it fell to Carmel. In the offseason, Jackson's recruiting skyrocketed, and he snared offers from IU, Purdue, Michigan State, Arizona State, Minnesota, Cincinnati, and Rutgers. Jackson's thrown for 600 yards and scored 7 touchdowns this fall for the Trojans. From Indiana, this is Scott Bernstein.
I'm Lauren Planton. The State Champs Sports Network grows every year. For 15 years, we were a Michigan brand. We planted our flag in Indiana 2 years ago, and I'm proud to say Ohio makes this a high school sports trifecta with coverage from a minimum of 40 games a week across 2 shows. Extra Point is all high school football, highlights, feature stories, and more, premiering Mondays. The high school sports show drops Fridays, and that's the best highlights of all the other fall sports happening now. We cover it all, so follow, like, and subscribe to the State Champs Network and download the new streaming app so you never miss a minute. All right, guys, welcome back into the studio, and I'm joined by a very special guest. You might have noticed Ryan Van Dyke in the past few programs that we've had here on the Scout Show, and really our interest in talking to a guy like Ryan is he's been there and done that. You know, he was recruited heavily out of high school here in the state of Michigan, played at Michigan State, had a pro career, and is now very, very active in working with our youth. Quarterback University, if you don't know about it, check it out because he's doing some great things with some really talented individuals. But I want to talk about your journey. So we're talking the late 90s, that's our era now. And, you know, you are somebody who you find out has some Division I schools thinking about you, and now you're a part of that recruiting process. What was it like?
Yeah, it was a lot quick. You know, thankful for me, I was a multi-sport player. I was a freshman starter on the varsity basketball team. So I kind of had some, you know, 14-year-old experience playing with 18-year-olds.
And tell us what schools for those.
Yeah, at Marshall High School.
Marshall High School, okay.
So, like, physically, like, I could do it. Mentally and, you know, just being one of the guys, you know, obviously being the quarterback, it took a minute to get there. But when it did, you know, I went from 5'7" to 6'5" in the course of 2 years. I could throw the ball, and I went from being maybe a varsity contributor to the starting quarterback. And at 6'5", you know, as a quarterback, sophomore, like, you get a lot of attention. It's like, hey, what can happen with this guy? Had some success, you know, had some failures. Team made the playoffs. We got knocked out in the first round. The second year, we had a really good synergy between my class and the class above us. So we just, you know, worked at it. Iron sharpens iron. We're very competitive with one another. And the letters started rolling in after we won the state championship, because really that's what this is about. It's about winning, and I can't express that enough to these kids. It's, you know, it's not about the stat line or what you can post on your Instagram or, you know, what you look like. It's about winning, and whether you do it and it looks great or whether you do it and it looks ugly, guess what? They still count as one. So I started to get a lot of attention from regional schools. You know, we won that state championship, and my coach started marketing me. And I really started marketing myself with my highlight video, and because that's all we really had to do, the VHS, you know.
Sending tapes.
Yeah, that's when it all really started, and then, you know, letters became conversations, and conversations became school visits, and, you know, in my school, as well as me going to campuses. And it was just, God, looking back at it, I mean, it happened so fast, and it was such a big deal. Like, I wish I would have had a little bit more fun with it. But I cared about it, you know, and that's how I decided to go about it. And Nick Saban found me, and I actually found him before he was Nick Saban. I always joke with him about it. But yeah, I just always felt comfortable at Michigan State, and that was kind of my home from the beginning.
But I will say this, we didn't have social media. We didn't have, obviously, the texting and everything that goes on now. We didn't have cell phones. You know, literally had letters, physical letters that you received, and in some cases for, you know, some recruits, are boxes of letters. Like, you couldn't even possibly go through them for some of the really high-end guys. and you're taking visits. It's that personal connection that you had to make. What visits did you take outside of Michigan State?
I went to Michigan. Michigan was actually before Michigan State, and before both of them was Notre Dame. So my very first visit was at Notre Dame.
What was that like?
It was right after Rudy came out. So I was like, hey man, let's go.
Yeah.
We were at a St. Mary's retreat, and it was me and my buddies, and we literally ran in the morning with the dusk and the dew and tried to, intercept the guys coming off from practice.
Right.
Ohio State, Indiana, Toledo, Purdue, and I think that was it.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and it was, the decision, I got offered a scholarship by Coach Saban in summer camp, and I was right there, and I hadn't even talked to my mom and dad, and I was like, my high school coach went here, I like the people, I like Spartans, there was a lot of Spartans in Michigan, from Marshall.
Yes.
That were very supportive, as well as Michigan guys.
No, I hear you.
But I just always felt comfortable with the Michigan State brand of people, and that's what I wanted to be.
Good stuff, Ryan. Be sure and check back next week for part 2 of this conversation right here on the State Champ Scout Show. I'm Lauren Plant, and here's what's going down in Michigan. A botched snap wasn't the only thing that Birmingham Brother Rice's Rocco Melia picked up over the weekend. The 6'2", 195-pound senior safety/wideout picked up a preferred walk-on offer from the University of Michigan on Sunday, a day after helping the Warriors beat Warren De La Salle in double overtime. On the game's deciding play, Melia, the holder for the kicks, picked up a low PAT snap and ran it in for the game-winning points. The son of former Wolverine Mark Melia, he had an interception in the win over De La Salle as well. As a junior, Melia had 44 tackles, 3 for loss, an interception, and a fumble recovery, and 3 touchdowns on 12 catches on the offensive side of the ball. Woodhaven's Cornell Perry has seen his recruiting tick up this month. On September 10th, the 6', 170-pound junior safety/wide receiver got his first D1 offer from Toledo, the school his parents graduated from. That was followed quickly by a Bowling Green offer 2 days later. New Boston Huron's Austin Myers picked up his third offer this week, adding a bid from Madonna to the ones he's gotten back in May from Indiana Wesleyan and Lake Erie College. The 6'4", 215-pound Myers threw for 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns as a junior, led the Chiefs to a 34-14 win over Carleton Airport in Week 1 this season. Livonia Churchill wideout safety Jimmy Targos committed to coach Tyrone Wheatley and Morgan State earlier this month after getting an offer from the Bears in mid-July. He had 6 offers before that, including Lawrence Tech, Olivet Nazarene, Lake Erie College, and Valparaiso. As a junior, Targos racked up 64 tackles, broke up 10 passes, and intercepted 4 others, and forced 3 fumbles. The 6'4", 200-pound free safety runs a 4.7 40-yard dash. University Liggett freshman Reggie Sharp committed to Michigan for baseball last weekend. The switch-hitting middle infielder can also pitch and play the outfield, but his calling card is his foot speed on the base pass. I'm Lauren Plant, and that's what's happening right now in Michigan. Hey guys, thanks for watching. The State Champ Scout Show drops every Wednesday here on the network. And if you've got recruiting news we should share here, then email us by going to the contact page at statechampsnetwork.com. I'm Lauren Plant. We'll see you next week. State Champs Scout Show is proudly presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare.